Well, I guess the wall drawing that I'm doing, you could say, is a portrait of globalization in many ways. It's about the world of proximities, so how one thing ends up creating 10 things, which end up creating 10 things, which end up creating 10 more things. It's all about this sort of flow of relationships. And this portrait that I'm doing of globalization is the last 10 years, so it starts in 1998 and goes to 2008. And through that you see the ripple of events like Seattle, the big demonstration against the WTO, or Genoa, the protests against the G8 meeting in Italy. So sort of and the flow on of in positive results coming out of those two events. But then also, I guess, there's another flow of kind of more negative events like the 9/11 attacks on the World Trade Center, the war in Afghanistan, the war in Iraq, the anti-war movement and the anti-terrorism laws and so forth. So you get this interweaving of how a whole series of sequences of events end up creating this picture of what we come to understand as globalization. One thing is that this is a biennial, and what I'm doing is placing art movements within the context of some of those events. So you have things like Dada and Situationism and Surrealism and relational aesthetics, and a lot of art movements that people come into a gallery would be interested in, and how they also weave into this pattern of what we understand as globalization and the counter-globalization movement. And it's a whole series of events with relationships between them, and the relationships are colour-coded, so there's transformative or immediate or more distance relationships. So I guess the audience can come and have a look at that and say, do they agree that, punk was really essential in creating Seattle, or do they agree that the Situationists were one of the key influences on the Reclaim the Streets movement, or do they think that Surrealism was an influence on the Eros International, one of the groups that are also in this Biennale in Taipei. So it's all those interweaving relationships and my opinion of how they affect each other, and I guess the audience can come and have a look at that and say, yeah, that's true or not true, or this is their opinion, and that sort of. I guess I wanted to make a map that brought together that optimism that came with that first emergence of that movement, tempered by, I guess, a realism 10 years down the track of all those experiences. So I'd say that this work is kind of a balancing somewhere between the two, between that idea that, we can make something new as artists, as activists, and then also the idea that maybe right now we don't know what that new thing is. Like we did, when Seattle first came, that was new and it created a whole lot of cultural and artistic expressions. But right now I think that particular wave has played out, and it's the new wave that needs to come, and exactly what that is we're yet to work out.